Hi guys, tonight we're going to be talking about getting into the real estate game, what we do as real estate agents and how to really get into the game. So stay tuned. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Eric. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, thank you. Good.
Happy Mondays.
Happy Monday. We haven't done this together before.
No, first time.
I'm very excited. So tonight we're going to be doing a bit of a inside the real estate world. I don't think we talk too much about what we do as agents and what that kind of entitles. So we're going to give you a bit of a touch on that and how we got into it.
That's it. Yeah.
So we'll start with you, Harry. What do you do here at Novak?
So I'm a leasing agent. I work with Tina Stacey. Love Tina. Actually, the other day was actually my 1 year anniversary. So far so good.
Happy
1
anniversary.
1 year in leasing. Enjoying it so far. There's been a lot of pros and cons in the industry overall. But yeah, overall experience wise, it's been a cracker. A lot of ups, lots of downs, but yeah, you just persevere and get through it.
It's definitely an emotional roller coaster, I would say.
Oh yeah.
Myself, I work in the sales team. I work underneath Novak as her associate. I did also start with Tina, so shout out to Tina for raising us to be to where we are today. So she's definitely trained us to persevere through the game that is real estate.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would definitely say it's a game of mental battles rather than a physical kind of thing where most jobs are physically laboring and that sort of thing, whereas this is more of an emotional battle. So we're going to touch on kind of how we got to where we are today and the reason why we got into the job. So Harry, do you want to start us off with how you got into it and why you chose kind of real estate?
It all started about a year and a half ago. Just finished high school, fresh out of year 12. It was about January, about this time last year. And essentially, Tina was actually doing a work order for one of the properties. Coincidentally, she was on the phone to one of my best friend's mother, who was working at Harvey Norman. And then the conversation just sparked. One thing led to another, and Tina got my mobile number. She gave me a call, because I was interested to get into the real estate industry. We organised an interview. I came the following Monday. Sat down with Brunker and Tina. I worked 3 days that week just as a tryout, and then the following week I've been working full time ever since. So it's amazing how small the world is, and just how you get into the industry. It's just like you meet one person that knows someone else, and then coincidentally you just see yourself in the industry. So. So far my experience has been, quite good. As I mentioned, lots of ups and downs, a lot of bad days, a lot of good days, but it's all part of the game. It is. For me, starting in the industry, I used to own a family fruit shop. Was my industry from when I was very young. Was supposed to be taking over the fruit shop. Unfortunately, we did have to sell. So I started spanning out my options and started studying real estate, got my certificate. Didn't really know what to do from there. I didn't really jump straight into real estate, straight out of school. I was out of school for about a year before I got into real estate. How I got the job was Mark actually was appraising one of my friend's houses while I was there. And my friend's parents told me to come out and watch the appraisal because they knew I was trying real estate. They ended up talking to Mark and saying that, Jono's looking to get into real estate. And Mark was like, come in for an interview tomorrow. And I was like, why not? I had nothing to lose at that point. I was like, may as well. Came in for an interview. I was here for about half an hour. Just talked to Mark and Milosh and the team and got offered the job and started the next day. And ever since then, I was on my way to, no regrets.
Been here for 4 years now. So,
out.
almost
4
going
years.
on 4, about three and a half now. It's been here for quite some time. I wouldn't change anything that I've done so far.
No regrets so far.
No regrets. Yeah. I started in reception. Did that for about 2 weeks and then headed into property management under Tina.
Beautiful.
You come straight into property management?
Straight into PM, straight off the bat.
Didn't have to learn the ropes in reception. We had to learn how to make coffees first.
Oh,
back when I started, back in those days.
And Jono, what's some of the pros and cons in the real estate industry, not just sales and PM, but in the industry as a whole, working as a real estate agent full time, what's some of the pros and the cons, some of the benefits and, some of the stuff that you have to sacrifice?
Yeah, so I would say in the sales aspect of things, I wouldn't necessarily say cons, but I would say things that, make it a little bit more difficult sometimes, the long days, that sort of thing, like you do have to deal with that stuff. But I would say the pros of things is really helping people. I've always been someone who loved to help people, like coming from an Italian background. I've always been that very family orientated, that kind of thing. So that family people aspect of things is massive for me. Helping people find their first home, or the excitement that it brings to other people makes me excited, kind of thing. That's my favorite aspect of the job. Absolutely love it. I love speaking to people, getting new connections with people. At the same time, I also do like helping people if they're in financial stress. It's good to be able to, be that shoulder that they can kind of lean on and able to help them to get through that time. And in terms of the harder stuff that you have to go is
the long hours.
The long hours, sometimes you're working till 10 o'clock at night. Sometimes you're doing late night Sunday. Last night I did a Sunday exchange. Myself and Lisa did one at 9:30 last night. On a Sunday night. So those kind of aspects of things, which you do get used to over time, but in saying that, you do have to be prepared to be able to work those long hours and put up with that kind of mental stress and strain that it has on you.
It's a lot of short-term sacrifice, and then you see that long-term reward, in the future. And that's one of the good things about when you start in the real estate industry, especially when you're young, because you see a lot of people, they go to university, and of course that's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But if you're someone that's fresh out of high school, you want to explore your options, and you don't see yourself going to uni or doing something academic. Real estate is a really, really good starter, because you don't just learn how to sell, you learn many skills. You learn how to communicate, you learn people skills, you understand what people want, whether that's in sales or whether you're in rentals. But you do learn a lot of other skills that not just benefiting in your career in real estate, but also in your personal life as well.
I think so too.
I think is a really rewarding thing to have.
Exactly, I think so. And I think it's a lot of that's confidence. I would say. So when I first started, I would never do this. I would never imagine myself being on this live stream talking to people and putting myself in front of the camera. Whereas now it's so natural to me, because it's just been embraced into my lifestyle. And this confidence and being able to talk to people on the phone. When I first started, never wanted to speak to anyone on the phone. And I think that just kind of incorporates into your lifestyle, and you don't even realize, but you take that into your outside life, and it just gives you so much of a better persona as a person, because you don't feel less confident within yourself, kind of thing. So
even when we first started with Tina, I remember I was too shy to even pick up the phone to call someone. I remember those days where it's like you had zero confidence. I was really quiet on the phone too. The first month, I was so quiet. Now it's like everyone tells me to be quiet.
Yeah, now we can hear you on the other side of the office. We're like, Harry's on the phone. I think it really does shape you as a person, and you definitely do have those tough long days. And Monday nights we work till 8:30, 9 o'clock. We've got to come back in, start the day tomorrow at 8:30. But we do enjoy what we do. We wouldn't do it if we didn't. We wouldn't be putting ourselves through that if we didn't enjoy it. So I think there's definitely a lot of pros to take away from being in the real estate game. And I definitely recommend it to a lot of people. What about you on the property management side of things? Those pros and those tougher times. I would say it's quite similar with the sales. It's same. It's the same principles. I would actually argue that in property management you build those fundamental, like the basic foundation of people skills, and I think once you've started the foundation, I think that's when you learn, that's when you progress that, and you actually enhance those skills better in sales, when you're actually dealing with $1 million properties, whereas in rentals you're dealing with $500, $600, $700 a week. So that sort of aspect to it. I would say in property management it's the same concepts, but I think it's more you learn the basic fundamentals of how the real estate market works, the people skills, knowing what to say on an open inspection, and I think that's when you really that's where you start your real estate career. And I think that property management is really good for learning the ropes. The good thing we do here at Novak is we do like an integration kind of thing. So like I said, I started in reception when I first started, that for a couple of weeks, then went into property management for about 1.5 years, and then moved on to sales. So there's always ways to incorporate into your lifestyle. And at the same time, if you don't want to do those long 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock finishes. You can do property management and finish on those earlier times and not have to worry about doing the late night deals kind of thing for sales. The property managers definitely do work hard. That's definitely not to say that.
A lot more headaches, I would argue,
they deal with a lot more of the mental stress of having to deal with, angry clients and that sort of thing. Whereas sales don't typically have to do that too much. It's more so just the chasing of the deal.
Chasing up a lot more people.
Yeah.
Doing a lot more due diligence, I would say.
Yeah, exactly. And then there is also the aspect of working Monday to Friday. If you don't enjoy the Saturdays, you can become a property manager, do Monday to Friday, and not have to do the open homes on Saturday. So everybody thinks that we have to work Saturdays and that sort of thing, but there is obviously ways to work around that as well. But overall, I think it's a great industry to get into. I wouldn't change it for the world. I've been doing it for nearly 4 years, and I'm planning on going for a lot longer than that. And I think Harry's doing the same. Fingers crossed he's going to start moving up in towards the sales world soon.
We'll see what happens this year. Let's do it.
But thanks everyone for tuning in. Obviously, any questions, just pop down to the office. We're happy to help out. But I definitely would recommend getting into the industry.
Beautiful.
Good night, guys.
Love you guys. See you later.